No.
When I wake up in the
Hi,
morning.
recording.
Hi,
Good morning.
recording.
Hi, recording.
No, we weren't.
We conned the train out of their valuables.
Oh, you're doing the full recap. Hold on. Full recap. Go.
Previously on Train Gang.
Sky bandits on birds.
What a concept.
That's frowned upon.
I think we were gonna get I think we were gonna stay on the train, and then when the train stopped, we were gonna get, at the very least, interrogated by the police, if not arrested for doing murder.
Excuse you. There are no cops in my game. You would have been questioned by the local guard. Who are not cops.
That makes it so much better.
They are
That's
not
worse.
cops. They're worse because they have no standards of procedure, and you do not have rights.
Yeah, there is not a guidebook
Okay, so
for
that's
being a
just how
guard.
the
You just
cops
do it.
function anyway. Anyway, sorry.
Political commentary.
Performed amazingly, according to my notes. Cart.
He's an entirely different character.
He's a completely different kobold. This one isn't even impaled by a god.
He's a kobold.
Before we do your job for you, take off your shirt. Like, what the fuck? Why? Like, I need to know if there's an elder god in there. No, there's a dark spirit. And then we get dragged out. Chef, our friend Chef, who we can't adopt because he is too big and we can't put him in our luggage.
Watch me.
Hmm.
And we were gonna.
Before they arrived at the crematorium, apparently dozens of bodies have gone missing.
Yeah.
And we were going to visit the families, weren't we?
We had a plan. Hold on. I'll pull up a plan.
Plan, Arthur. I just need money.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Did you get your corn dogs?
So if I recall...
Do you want me to put the corn dogs in for you? Okay.
If I recall, Yote and Einen were going to chill out. And Einen, because Yote was going to try and repair, get the pistols that we had in working order, either for distribution or sale. And that in the process, Yote was also going to try and show Einen how to properly handle one.
Smoking a cigar and handling a gun.
The twins were going to go deal with selling stuff, including the assorted stolen jewelry.
Cough, cough.
Cough, cough. And the Voracious and Hero were gonna go, I think, talk to gonna kick off the investigation. I think we should, and then that was the plan. I do think we should add a meet time later to discuss and then move forward with said plan. But I think that was the idea. We are splitting the party.
I mean, if Yo and Einen are, in theory, staying back at the bar, I guess all we need to do is return to the bar.
Yeah.
We're also, to be fair, we're splitting the party, but we are splitting the party in a major city. So, in a major city that isn't Sharn. So,
My
the
thinking.
chances that any of us are going to get like kidnapped. Listen,
You should be relatively safe.
I mean, yeah, but I was also going to say, how long should we wait until we figure something has gone wrong for someone?
2 days. What does it say? The first 48 hours?
Jesus. I would say if say we're planning on meeting up at, I don't know, mid-afternoon.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like a couple hours.
And then we give it a couple hours, and if the people have no hide nor hair, we assume something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go team, go.
Go team.
Pens in the middle.
All right. Let's.
I think that Voracious and Hero should go last, since their thing is the most relevant to the plot.
Sure.
Can I say?
Yeah, no, we'll do this. We'll do this in order of least important plot-wise and to most important. So we'll start with Einen and Yot. Einen, Yot, everybody, you all wake up in the Golden Dragon. You pair off into your respective jobs. The twins head out to filch their ill-gotten gains. The reasonable people go to speak to the grieving families whose recently deceased family members have been stolen. And Einen and Yot, you stay at the inn to fix up and train with some guns. Just want to make sure I got what everyone's doing. That's the correct split, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I'm speaking for just my thing.
Awesome. Einen, what do you two do for your morning routines? They've got like a full continental breakfast kind of thing going on.
Just give me all the eggs you have.
I want all the eggs and bacon you have. No, hold on. I think you might have heard, give me a lot of eggs and bacon. I said give me all
the bacon.
your eggs. The Key and Peele skit. Gotcha. There's a Key and Peele skit where he's like, "Ooh, we've got crepes from German tarts. How delightful!" Oh, no. What the fuck is it? Mm. Damn. You gonna eat all those waffles, Inan? Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's Yote's morning look like?
Yote's morning is pretty simple. In the sense of he stays up incredibly late, just tinkering around with like shit in his bag or like projects that he's working on. But in the morning, he normally only gets like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, which is really unhealthy for him. It's actually really running him down. He's got bags under his eyes constantly, and his eyes are always bloodshot. But what he'll do in the mornings that he gets up after like 4 of what is essentially a elongated nap, and he'll do the like fantasy crossword. So every single morning without fail, he'll like pull out, whatever the paper is in this world and spend like the better part of the morning trying to finish both the mini crossword and the long crossword, but he only ever gets a quarter of the way through the long crossword because he gets too frustrated with trying to figure out all the answers. He thinks the clues are way too convoluted most of the time. He enjoys a nice breakfast of black coffee and a glass of water and nothing else. And he sits there in frustration, trying to figure out the crossword.
Sounds like dwarf after my own heart.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you are my only friend. I pull out the fantasy paper and I go, 4-letter word, another word for some or 5-letter word for something you tie a knot with. Oh, rope. Oh god. And then I start furiously like erasing a bunch of other squares and then writing rope. Got it, okay.
Son of a bitch, you just
I got the mini done in about 55 seconds, but when it comes to the long one, I am hard pressed to find all the answers. And it's hard to try to make your brain work every day and try to like work it out like any other muscle. And God, I hate it. And then he breaks the pencil like over his knee.
And just as this happening, I'm just gonna say, Archie walks past and goes, 4 down is obfuscate. And just walks off.
What the paper? I hand it over.
I have the
I
end
take
of
it
the
out.
pencil that writes.
Yeah, I take the broken pencil and pull out like a little whittling knife, and I carve you a new tip to it.
Yeah, go ahead and Einen, go ahead and roll for me. Uh, uh, We'll call this. I want to say a history check. Einan, you managed to fill in about over the course of about 10 minutes or so while eating with your other hand, managed to fill in about half of this crossword. And then it gets to the and you kind of get hung up a little bit on the section that's detailing like words in other languages that you don't speak. Uh, uh,
That's fair. I also don't understand these. What is this? Riz? What does this mean?
what does this mean?
Um, I would like to try to roll to solve the rest of the.
Sure, sure. Yo, give me a just a flat intelligence check, I guess.
Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Can our collective 29 out of 40
Audiences are accustomed to long run times.
Yeah. You do kind of skip past some of the pop culture options. But it turns out a lot of the this is actually just a fun D&D fact. Like 80% of languages use the dwarven alphabet in Dungeons and Dragons. So even if yeah, no, you realize that the reason why half these answers don't fit is because you've been trying to do them in common, Yote, when most of these are asking for the dwarven variants of those words.
It literally
Yeah,
knows so much that Orcish and Dwarvish share a script.
Wow.
does that help me at all because I know
Oh yeah, no,
Dwarven?
you realize that this is that this crossword was made in Dwarvish, and it takes you like 45 seconds to finish filling it out.
Oh, okay, cool.
I will. Yeah, you do have to erase most of it. Also, you finally get the pop culture ones filled in, but it's only through process of elimination.
Gotcha.
You know, there's only so many letters that can go in the empty spots to make a word.
Mm. I fill the rest of it out, and well, actually no, I actually take out like some makeshift scissors, and I cut out the crossword, and I write on it in big letters, first completed crossword ever.
Einan and Yote, for completing the Thrain times morning crossword. You get +2 on your next intelligence-based skill check.
Oh. Yeah, guns, trains, and automobiles. We'll work up to it. We will work up to it. I am ready to train one.
The passing server says, please don't shoot guns inside the inn. There's a range there's a range over on the outskirts of town. I mean, if you want to use their guns, yes.
How much does it cost to use their guns?
It depends on the gun and how long you want to use it for.
I want to use the biggest and coolest one that they have.
They charge 20 gold per shot.
Per shot. Oh, okay.
Per shot.
Yo hops off the chair like a child would because his feet don't reach the ground.
They got dwarf-sized fucking chairs here. Yo,
Yeah,
you
but I still choose to sit in the normal humanoid-sized chairs.
This motherfucker out here short. Yeah, it takes you about it's a short walk to the range. You realize as soon as you see it, what's up?
Let's do the
Sure. You all head out to the range, and as you leave the inn, we are going to move the camera over to the twins as they head deeper into the city of Passage in order to find. Are y'all looking for like an actual fence, or are you just trying to find?
First of all, we got a couple of little short swords here, some breastplates, some kind of essentially amounts to scrap metal that we kind of want to offload on somebody.
Sure.
Just find a smithy or something, and then yeah, we want to go on and find a fucking fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll
Not
say
too fancy
brother,
with the weapons. Like
don't
we,
too fancy.
we don't got nothing special here. We can give it to pretty much anybody.
Yeah. Now we'll say my eye tells me it's about 300 gold pieces of assorted jewelry in here. So how high you think we should start with the fence? How high?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make a bad impression. Like we only just got here. I don't want to get a reputation. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should be not honest, but you know, we'll start at like I don't know 350. See if we can work them down to 300.
And maybe even 400. We'll vibe it out.
Sure. Yeah. We'll see what they're thinking.
All right. Cool.
Maybe literally if need be.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's find ourselves a smithy, load these off, and then you know, have a bit of a mosey.
Sounds good to me.
Well, it's let's see. Einen woke up super early and got a full workout in and like spent at least 20 minutes making waffles. So it's probably about 9-ish, kind of closer to mid-morning than early morning at this point. So the market in Passage is a big city. It's a city. So it doesn't so much have like a market square as it does a market district. But it's already in like full swing. Finding like a smithy to offload your scrap metal and your short swords, that's like that only takes you like maybe 30 minutes tops, and that's just walking to it.
Yeah, we'll walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, excuse me, yeah, sorry, don't mean to interrupt you."
Give me one moment.
Gotta get into character. Currently smashing a knife off the edge of the table. It's method acting.
It's fine that it's later in the morning. Archie had to read the Financial Times every morning. He goes,
I
"These
don't
are the real
understand.
fucking crooks."
Yeah, I don't understand why you're so interested in the stock market.
Look,
It's not like we got
look at
money
these
to
guys.
invest.
These are the big players, all right. They're the real fucking, and what they do, everybody thinks is fucking legal. Are you kidding me? You
Yeah,
kidding me?
eat the rich, etc., etc. You
Would you
preach to the
look at it?
choir.
Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, look at this. Potions, healing potions, down 2 points.
What? How? I
Oh,
I don't fucking understand. Everybody needs healing potions, all right?
It's one of those things. You get your bread, you get your milk, you get your healing potions.
I'm telling you,
How can that?
it's price gouging. That's the fucking ring. I'm telling
It's
you,
gotta be.
it's gotta be.
But then I suppose it's been a long time since the war, and people aren't getting injured in the ways that they used to. So maybe this is just a natural progression. Maybe this is the price of peace. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
tell that to remember Josie from the factory. You tell that to him. He lost a whole fucking hand.
God damn.
Yeah.
uh,
I-
exploded by
Or getting stomped on by city-sized Warforged.
Hmm.
They only
Mhm.
made 30 of those. They only.
Yeah, but they were real big. So we still killed a lot of people.
That's a lot of big ass feet. That's 60 feet.
Yo, feet.
Twins. You meander through the market district for a moment, kind of trying to suss out the best person to offload your scrap to, and you find that all of the people in the market district that are like openly carrying weapons of higher quality seem to frequent a little hole in the wall smithy called Ansif's Armory. And when you go in, you see a half-orc woman kind of like slaving over what appears to be a relatively traditional style forge, which is a bit of an oddity given that this is the age of magical industrialization. Realistically speaking, you could literally like most people who make weapons nowadays mass produce them on a massive scale. The idea of hand forging a sword is something of a lost art. When like you could get like 5 wizards together and just magic up 100 swords in an hour.
Archie's looking around. Archie's enamored with everything he's seeing. He's being a smith himself.
We got
Oh
an
my
artisan
God.
over here.
Look at this shit. Holy shit. I could never do quality like this. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, you could put your time in.
What a fantastic workshop. It's amazing.
It's beautiful. You want to go say hi?
Beautiful. Yeah, 100%. Excuse me. Excuse me, miss.
Yeah, what?
First of all, compliments to your shop. From one smithy to another. This is absolutely beautiful. Fantastic.
She looks slightly taken aback. That's it's very kind of you to say. Most people ask me why I haven't gotten one of those fancy sword presses.
Fuck those. They tried to make me use those back at the factory. I hated that shit. There's no art to it anymore. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Excuse me. Sorry. Don't mean to keep taking up your time. We actually have come into
Hello, Mario.
possession of what I think really, just looking at it, it amounts to some sort of what I assume would be cheap scrap metal. We're just looking to sell it. We don't want to carry it around anymore. Would that be something you might be interested in? Just a few swords, a couple of breastplates. One of them's cracked real bad.
Well, I'd have to look at them first. Not
Oh,
all
of course.
not all steel's as a craftsman, I'm sure you understand. Not all steel's the same.
100%, 100%. Now pull out the 2 short swords. There's 3 breastplates and then 1 cracked breastplate.
She looks at the cracked breastplate and immediately gets like kind of a sour look on her face and says,
Yeah, I know. Look at it.
What happened to this one?
Is that the one I punched?
Yeah, I think that's the one you literally like.
I
Go
I
ahead.
punched it,
He broke it with his own hands. He's very strong.
Yeah, well, they're not too strong,
You punched a hole in a metal breastplate.
It was a good thing
You're
to
looking
do
at
at the
us like-
time.
You're looking at us like that's an impossible task.
For most people, it is.
Like,
My brother ain't most people.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
She takes like a really close look at the two of you and says, y'all wouldn't happen to be affiliated with any of the local guilds, would you?
No, we're all the way from Sean.
Yeah, we only just got here.
Yeah, we really just got here.
I will remind the two of you. You are affiliated with an adventurers guild.
Oh shit! Oh yeah! No, wait.
Oh,
we
that's
are.
right. Yeah,
That just
about
happened.
Yeah,
I'm
she
sorry.
did
It's
just see
new.
local guilds in the adventure.
Yeah, no. Some adventuring. It was all very a little confusing. If I'm gonna
Do you have
be
your
honest
tabs with you?
Yeah. They're pull out. I'll just because Archie's not that stupid. Pull out 2 of them from the bag of holding.
Can I see them?
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
We were deputized, you understand?
Yeah. Apparently, defending yourself is illegal. I don't know.
Oh, were you on the train when it happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
they
heard
take-
about that?
I think everybody in town heard about that.
Oh.
Rumors travel fast and gossip travels faster.
That's fair enough.
Bro, we just got here and we're already famous.
I know you're not used to it, brother, but
She pulls out like one of those like jeweler's lenses that you can use to like really closely examine something, and she just takes a really close look at the. Did I say they were copper before?
Bronze.
At the bronze tab, and says, "Oh yeah, look at that, Rail Warden's tab. Not the most prestigious of the Adventurers Guild, but huh. All right. I'll take the broken breastplate off your hands for insert 1/4 the value of a breastplate here.
That's fine.
That sounds reasonable to me.
I'll take the rest of the breastplates for half value, and are you sure you want to get rid of the short swords? Because honestly, I could just give those a quick sharpen for you. They'd probably serve you pretty well.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, by the way, we're so rude. We're absolutely so rude. My name's Archie. How you doing? And this is my brother.
Garrick.
This is my brother Garrick. Yeah. Apologies.
My name's Trass.
Trass, it's very nice to make your acquaintance.
Very nice to make your acquaintance.
You're not going to ask about the shop?
Archie looks at his brother.
Most people ask why the shop is named after Ansif if I'm the one who runs it.
Oh,
I see.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, of course. I mean,
it's an interesting story. I'd be glad to hear it.
Yeah, but of course we don't want to pry either, if that's a personal thing.
No, I'm just. It's almost a relief, honestly, that some people still mind their damn business. The only
Oh,
reason I
we're
brought
very
it up
good
is
at that.
because the only reason I brought it up is literally because I was stunned that you didn't ask.
Yeah, no, we're very good at keeping our noses where they belong.
Yeah,
Most of the time.
We were raised to be inconspicuous about this sort of thing.
Discerning.
Yeah.
Is that the
You
right
don't
word?
ask,
Not
then
discerning.
nobody. You
Is
don't
that
ask, you
the-
don't tell.
Is that the right word? Fucking
People,
Did I get that one right?
people's business is their own. You don't need to be prying into everybody's personal life all the time.
But yeah, if you quick quick sharpen on those short swords, probably get them into fighting form.
How much would that be then? Why not? Might as well. Could come in handy.
Well, let's see. Hold on, let me pull up. How much are you making off these breastplates?
So their 400 breastplate is 400 gold.
Hot diggity shit! Why is armor so expensive in this?
So the broken one would be 100, and the other ones would be 200. So that's
400 gold?
Yeah, for a breastplate.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You can reduce that price further. That is fine.
No, it's fine. I always forget that breastplate. I always forget that armor in this game is just so wildly expensive.
Oh, shit, brother. We don't need to offload the jewels anymore. Look at that. We got rich.
We're already sorted. I love it.
Holy shit.
I tell you what, you give me one of these breastplates for scrap for hold on. I'll give you the 100 for the busted one.
Yep.
I'll give you 200 apiece for 2 of the other breastplates.
All right.
The third breastplate will cover the cost of sharpening the swords for you.
That sounds absolutely perfect.
That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've got a bit of a backlog on orders right now. Give me.
Oh, that's fine. We could always swing by later. I think we're gonna be in town for a couple of days at least.
Yeah, we'll be around for a while. We can always come back.
Yeah, we'll just swing back.
Well, I'll have them done for you by the end of the day. Shop closes usually a little bit after sundown.
All right, and if we don't make it back, I promise you we'll be here first thing in the morning.
For sure.
All right. It was lovely to meet you, Trask. Thank you for your business, and I can't wait to see what you do with the swords, and see you in the morning or later this afternoon. I don't really know where our day's gonna take us here.
But yeah, so that is 500 gold pieces y'all have earned.
Yep.
So far.
Tracking it in the bag.
You hold on to that, brother. You know I'm not good with money.
I keep it in the bag of holding. We don't carry that kind of money around out in the open,
Oh, no, that's not walking around money.
No. Unless you are a brother hero. Did you see that shit?
Jeez, yeah, that guy's got money coming out of everything.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Whoever the fuck that is. I have no idea. Man, that's so much money. Also, you get the feeling we're like the brokest fuckers of all of them, even the kid.
I didn't want to say, but yeah, I feel kind of underdressed when I'm around that guy,
Yeah, me too. Maybe should we spruce up? And they just continue walking as they have this conversation.
Yeah. Before we move away from the twins, I do want to Garrick and Archie, as you start to look for, are you still going to look for a fence?
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Do either of you have rogue levels?
No, but I have a criminal background.
Yeah, I just have street sorcerer.
Yeah. Criminal contact. Okay.
Technically, criminal contact I've already used. Like that. That's someone I had to. That's the cheese boy. But I don't know if criminality. It doesn't give you thieves can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's specifically rogues, which I think sucks. But whatever.
I'm not sure what to. You know what? You know how to suss out how to find someone to sell illicit goods for. We'll call this a wisdom roll.
All right.
Go ahead and add proficiency to it.
Okay. Are we each making a roll, or is this?
Yes, you can each make a roll if you want. Or if one of you is bad with wisdom, you can give the other the help action.
Yeah, my wisdom isn't great, so I'll just help.
My wisdom's all right. So do I just? So do I just click? How do I? Not sure how to do this.
Do /roll 2d20 KH1 plus 5. Because your wisdom's 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
/roll 2d20
KH1 plus 5.
1 plus 5. Any spaces here?
No.
Unrecognized.
Unrecognized. /roll 2d. Maybe it has to be KH. My bad. You have to do the plus 5 before the KH1.
Does KH stand for keep highest?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay. 5.
Well, even that still added them together, which it shouldn't have. That's what we just did. It didn't work.
God, I feel like I'm back in math class again doing.
Wait, hold on.
No,
I think
it worked for me. It worked for me.
Hang on. Can I do it this way?
Well, that's a 14 plus 5, so
so 19.
19. Yeah, you finding someone to fence goods to is a significantly more difficult task than finding a reputable smithy to sell regular things to. So as we pan the camera away from the twins, the sun at this point in the concurrent timeline is high in the sky. It's around noon. And we move to Voracious and Hero.
What's that?
We're gonna jump back in time a little bit here. What does Voracious and Hero's morning look like?
Hero can go first.
No, I was just gonna say Hero is going to wake up at like 6 and go and find like a little balcony somewhere and do some very pretentious morning yoga before heading down for breakfast and being ready to go. And breakfast is done reading sheet music until he has company.
What we've seen Einen's breakfast. What is Hero's breakfast?
Oh, Hero just has like a granola and fruit bowl and like an obnoxiously tall like orange juice with a little umbrella in it. He has to ask for the umbrella special, but it's important to start your day on the right foot, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Verashis is not woken up by Einan waking up at dawn and working out, because Verashis is used to sleeping on a train, so in a cabin car with 6 other people, or 5 other people, I guess. So, like, a certain degree of background noise, normal. He gets up and he takes his time. Makes sure and combs his mane, wash it. I'm assuming that is essentially how he cleans himself, because he's covered in fur. Yeah, and he'll gently meander his way down. I don't know if anyone else will still. I'm presuming the twins will have already headed out. I don't know if Einan and Yot will have, or if it will just be Hero waiting for him. Because he does, like, whenever they were like, we should all head downstairs around this time, he is a solid 20 minutes later than that.
I think by the time you come down to join Hero, Einan and Yot have just figured out that the crossword is in Dwarvish.
Hero, from across the room with his little glasses on, is studiously saying nothing and not looking over, because once he gets into that conversation, he won't be able to help himself. And he was not invited, so he's not going to barge into it.
Verashis does see them both, like, I'm assuming heads together, poring over the crossword, thinks about it for a minute, and decides to leave them to it. They're clearly having fun. Well, they're presumably having fun. He's gonna leave them to it. And he's gonna head over to Hero and breakfast. Salad and some bread. Fresh bread. Bet there's fresh bread. It's gonna have some fresh bread and some salad.
Salad?
You are a lion.
Presumably, Leonin are omnivores. Otherwise, I don't know if they would be able to function.
I mean, you're the Leonin player here, and also my lore expert, so this is up to you, Chief.
I would argue that even if Leonin are obligate carnivores, Verashis is a half-elf. He can eat a salad.
That's fair.
So yeah.
You know what, actually, incredibly hot take. I think wood elves should be carnivores.
Yeah. But I also, and also our hot take that fucking orcs should be from the forest, and that's why they're green.
Yeah, orcs come from the reaches.
Orcs come from the reaches instead of coming from the one evil part of the world. Fucking listen, there's a lot of fun stuff about Eberron, but man, it's very 2003 and is very funny that it's just like, in the middle, you have the normal countries. To the east, you have the desert, where all the brown elves are. To the west, you have Drome and the Shadow Marches, where you have orcs, kobolds, fucking just any of the, like, any kind of monster. They're just Drome. They're from Drome.
To be fair, the marches, which I assume are like marshes and swamp, are also very green in real life. They're very gray on TV.
The orcs are from the Shadow Marches. The orcs are from Drome, which is the Barrens. It's just the evil place in the map that everything evil is from.
Eviling our way along.
Which is ironic, because there's also the Demon Wastes up in the northeast section, which is... Does anything actually come from there, to your knowledge, Al?
Not that I've run into as saying that they're from here. Tribes of human, tiefling, and orc barbarians eke out a living here in the shadows of demons and night hags. So yeah, nothing really comes from
here. Okay, cool. So
whereas Drome is a nation ruled by monsters.
Cool.
Anyway.
So we have actual hell. Hell is real, and it's the Demon Wastes. Nice.
Great.
continue, Hero and Veratius, with your morning.
Hero's gonna greet him very. Did you sleep well?
Well, I always do, especially in here. It's nice to actually have a room to yourself, or mostly to yourself.
I was wondering how well you would sleep with on something that wasn't moving, but it was more of an academic curiosity.
I mean, I wasn't born on a train. I am more used to it now than I was, but every couple of months I'll splash out, spend the night here. I did it more previously.
Oh, lovely. In which case, I will let you take the lead. Presumably, you know the city better than I do.
Been here mostly at night, I won't lie, but it'll be hard to get so lost it's actually a problem, especially since, and he gestures just at the general ceiling, they've stuck a giant golden dragon on the top of the roof, so we'll at least be able to find our way back.
It's very true. It's very true. Don't let me interrupt your breakfast, but once we are going, we'll go. In the meantime, coffee?
Not much of a stimulants person, I'll be honest.
It's all right. I'll have yours. And Hero will wander off, get himself 2 cups of coffee, and then drink both of them.
That explains a lot. I have nothing else to do, so should we head out?
Yeah. We're gonna head. I don't remember the details of the location we were sent to.
I don't know if we were given a specific location. Looking at my notes, it just says find out who is taking dozens of bodies before they arrive at the crematorium. So I'm assuming the first thing we're doing is heading to the crematorium.
To the morgue. Let's go.
As we head out, do we walk along the shoreline at all? I can't actually. I need to move Rash's token. Yeah, passage is right on the water. Do we walk within view of the lake?
Well, the lake is like, I believe I said that the lake is behind the Gold Dragon Inn, and that the actual city of Passage is further inland. The train kind of follows the shoreline of Lake Galifar because it was just easiest to build there, because shores tend to be relatively flat. And it's expensive to lay train tracks on an incline. Even for
I guess
wizards.
since it's a lake, they're not having to worry about the tide as much, because otherwise that's a...
Not at all on the lake.
Actually, you would a little bit. Lake Galifar is roughly the same size as the largest of the Great Lakes in North America, and those lakes have tides. They're only called lakes because they're freshwater. They are fully functioning seas.
Okay.
In all of the ways. But no, it's expensive to lay tracks on an incline, but also the tracks are still magic, so...
Yeah, they are stone pyramids embedded into the ground.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we head out, Veratius will sort of gesture out at the lake in that sort of direction and be like, well, as I said, I don't know much about the town, but I do know that over there are the twin sisters, Cree and Chinook. They are famous for being, I think, the only stable large settlement for shifters that have managed to survive in the entirety of Eberron. Largely because anytime someone starts shit with one of them, they rapidly find out they have started shit with both of them, and it tends not to end well.
Hero is, by the way, listening intensely. Like he's still doing the walk and the nod, but he is absorbing. This is all songbird fodder.
Mm-hmm. And we'll head over to the crematorium. I'm assuming we can either look for, well, I guess if people are stealing bodies, we can't look for a big pillar of smoke, so we could always just ask someone who's passing, like, where's the crematorium? Or we asked someone before we left, which would have also been sensible.
Oh no, 100%. Hero's going to wait for the first, whatever the equivalent of a tuk-tuk is, to go past. Hail it down and have
what
them
the
driven.
fuck is a tuk-tuk?
Like a little, like a pedal-driven. Oh fuck me. Hold
There's
on.
loads of them in India. It's like a trike with like a van cabin on the back of it.
Yeah, it's like you now see a lot of them around, but they're doing it with a bike, so they're less stable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with a trike, so it's like fundamentally more stable.
This is a tuk-tuk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You flag one down. Are you? I assume you're taking it to the crematorium then, rather than just asking for directions.
Yeah, no, we're taking it to the crematorium.
Cool. Tuk-tuk ride, I assume, costs money. You're going into town from the Gold Dragon Inn. You're also rich. The forge was Ansif's armory, ANSIF, and the forge master was Trass. For both of you to ride the tuk-tuk's gonna be 5 silver total.
1 gold is 10 silver, right?
Yes.
Dope. 5 silver, I'll pay for that. And on the way, Hero is gonna activate his wonder clothes and make sure that we arrive in a suitably buddy cop suit. So probably edging on like the dark navy, very white shirt kind of vibe, like open neck.
Nice.
Verashis does not like comment on your costume change, but as we're approaching, he does go, we are planning to go in as adventurers and not posing as the recently bereaved, right?
Oh no, absolutely. But you dress for the welcome you desire. If we walk in looking scruffy and like we're going to cause trouble, we are going to be received as such. If we walk in looking eminently respectable and making perfectly reasonable inquiries in the name of solving crime, we will probably be received as such. So, dressing
Verashis sort of looks down at himself and shrugs, raises a finger. DM, since we planned out that we were going on this venture, would we be able to say that Hero and Verashis had the foresight to take at least one of the little "We are adventurers, I promise" tokens?
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, I think everyone who's going out and about today presumably has their own. Otherwise, that would be setting ourselves up for failure for no reason.
I'm sure Einen and Yote would be fine.
If you take, everyone who wanted to take theirs could just have taken theirs, because I have the bag, so it doesn't matter. But like, just remember, be careful what you say around them if you do.
Yeah, we're fine. We got it.
So yeah, we'll walk up and Verashis will knock on the door or use the door knocker or bell pull or whatever they've got.
Oh, it's a business. You can go in.
Just before they walk in, Hero turns to him and goes, now, given that I've already established that I have no intention of defrauding people or doing anything else that you consider fundamentally morally questionable, I will request that you refrain from rolling your eyes so loudly that everyone can hear you. Okie doke! And pats him twice on the shoulder and then steps inside.
Thrash just bites his tongue on that one.
You step into the crematorium. Its interior is a fairly kind of somber decor. They understand that this isn't like a place that people come to for fun. So there's no like big decorative pieces. It's mostly just dark hardwood furniture and kind of dim, not dim lighting, but not quite bright lighting either. And sitting behind a desk in kind of this lobby area is a half-elf woman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you free for a conversation?
She looks around. I don't see anybody else in the building.
Fair enough. You never know what people have going on if there's paperwork, etc. We have some questions, and we quite like to ask them in some detail, if that's quite all right.
Yeah. I mean, I'll answer whatever questions I can. Is this about recently is this about scheduling a pickup or
It's about a spate of recently deceased, if you understand. We've been asked to perhaps ask some questions.
We're taking up a job on behalf of the Adventurers Guild to help investigate what's been happening to the supply of bodies.
Oh, I thought you were here because like you needed us to get a body for I thought you had a recently departed loved one and were trying to schedule an actual cremation. If you're here about that, you don't want to talk to me. I'm just the receptionist. You're going to want to talk to Lady Shalia. She's in the back currently prepping a body for cremation. I can go get her for you if you'd like, or you could if you got identification, I could let you into the back.
Varash just takes his token out of his pouch.
Hero takes his out and puts it on the counter, but doesn't remove his hand yet. And he's like, I actually do want to ask you some questions, because when we go back there are going to be very particular questions that we need to ask. And I think yourself might be useful for a different type of question. If you have time, of course.
Yeah, I have time.
Now, we have received some information, but I think the people who were talking to us perhaps were a bit squeamish with the details. You understand, uncomfortable with death and so on. So could you, being in the business of death, perhaps be a bit more straightforward? Are we talking about simple body snatchers, or are we talking about parts, or what's the real situation here?
I mean, from what I know, it seems like when we send our men to go and collect bodies from the families of the bereaved, our men have described being very suddenly put to sleep, and then when they wake up, the bodies are missing.
Oh, so they're actually snatching them from your employees on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the mortician's name. You haven't actually asked the receptionist her name yet.
I didn't think so, which is why I was like, is that her name?
Thank you. That's very interesting. Now, I do have another question. So sorry. do they? Is this recorded? Are there incident reports? And he looks for a name to have notes. I'm so sorry, I didn't catch the name.
Oh, my name is Ashran.
Ashton, lovely. Now, do you happen to have incident reports?
I mean, we did lobby, or we did leave some complaints with the local guard captain. And when nothing came from that, we also put the job out for the Adventurers Guild. It's been fairly consistent. I want to say almost a third of the bodies that we've been tasked with preparing for disposal have been taken in the last few months. The guard haven't been able to find out anything. Their wizards, when they go to the areas where their wizards, when they go to the areas our men described their sudden what's the opposite of yes, thank you, their ensorcelment, can't find any evidence of magic having been cast, but
I mean, there's no guarantee it's magic. There's any number of alchemical solutions you could use to put someone to sleep like that. I'm assuming your staff members haven't noticed any strange smells or stains on their clothing or broken glass in the area, at least no more than usual. It's as you said, it's been months. I'm assuming these are the sort of clues other people would have already picked up on.
I mean, you would think that, but if I'm being really honest with you, I don't think the guards are doing quite their due diligence in their investigation.
Horrendous behaviour, and yet also not shocking. Now, do you happen to have... Now, the reason I was asking about incident reports, I was wondering if you had a list, some kind of way of keeping track of where these, now it seems indelicate to call them shipments, but where these movements of the the departed, where they've been waylaid.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, we do keep records of every body that passes through our halls, up to I think our standard policy is up to 6 months. After that, we just don't have the room for them anymore, so we have to.
Understood. Obviously, these have not passed through your halls. So what I'm wondering is there some kind of record keeping that would indicate a failed, well, not failed pickup, but a failed delivery?
I mean, yeah, we have we keep records of the families who've paid for our services, and we also obviously have records of the refunds for services failed to render.
So, do you specifically, the information I'm looking for is where these hijackings took place? Is that the kind of thing you might have recorded?
I mean, you might need to speak with the guards for that, or it's also possible if you come back, not if you come back, if you'd like to speak with our couriers.
Oh, absolutely.
They usually come in. She looks at a little clock on her desk. They actually usually come in right about now. They're a little late today.
They weren't trying to pick up on their way in, were they?
I hope not. They're not. I hope they weren't. They haven't clocked in.
That would be very unfortunate. Beautiful. So, if possible, we'll go and talk to your boss. But if you could waylay your couriers before they depart, it would be lovely to be able to get the information directly, especially if we have some concerns about the tenacity of the guard.
I do have one final question about that. If you don't mind, of course. I know you're busy.
Literally not, but go ahead.
Well, I suppose it's two questions. One of them we can double back on later if you'd like, but you said that the guard weren't doing their due diligence, and I found that interesting. My question right before we go seeing your boss is, are there any elven members of your staff, at least the ones tasked with retrieving the bodies? Or anyone of Fey ancestry that you know of? I know it's a slightly odd question.
Most of our couriers are human. I think Torm might have a little bit of orc in his family somewhere, but
That's fair.
no. I think they're mostly human. Ferocious is not getting racist. Half elves are immune to sleep.
No, yeah, we got it. We were there.
No, I know. M in chat said Voracious gets racist.
All right. Well, inconclusive, but thank you anyway. Looks at
Thanks so
healing,
much.
shall we?
You
Yes.
said you had a
Thank
second
you.
question. Hold on.
That was. We can do it now if you'd like. It was just you said you feel like the guard aren't doing their due diligence. I was wondering why you think that. I mean,
It's just
Well,
different ancestors.
different cultural perspectives, but from my point of view, if anyone where I'm from found out that bodies were going missing and the people who were meant to be investigating that weren't, there'd be more of a collective uproar.
Well, to be truthful with you, most of the bodies that have gone missing have been from families of less well-to-do means, if we're being generous.
So perhaps the eye is not being put entirely on these cases because the guard do not believe them to be worthwhile.
And the bodies that went missing from, and the few bodies, not even the few bodies, the one body that kind of made the headline, so to speak, because this one was in the paper a few weeks back, was from House Garand, and House Garand are well known for their tendency to produce children with they have a lot of tiefling and ASMR children. And the guard don't, the town, the city tend to view them with something of suspicion for it.
Tiefling and ASMR.
That is frightfully interesting. One more question. Now, forgive me, this might be terribly rude, but are you the only game, as it were, in town? Or are there other crematoriums, mortuaries, that kind of thing?
I mean, there are other mortuaries if you have the money to pay for a proper burial. But as far as cremations go, we're not the only place, but we are definitely the largest.
And I presume that despite being in some sense competitors, you are also kind of the only people who understand each other's work. In your conversations with your fellow cremates and mortuary folk, do they also seem to be missing the departed, or is it just yourselves?
I mean, I don't really talk about my work outside of work. I try to distance myself because of it's a bit of an emotional toll, working around the dead.
Understood. In which case, could I just ask you a massive favor? And you absolutely do not have to do this, but I presume we're going to be at this for most of the day, and we're probably going to go and speak to some of your compatriots working in similar locations. If you happen to know the names of some of these people who would perhaps have a moment to speak to us, just so we can say, greetings, this is who we are, so and so sent us, we've just going to ask some questions. That kind of introduction would be very useful to putting everyone at ease, because the last thing we need is people thinking that somebody's trying to keep an eye on them or something. That's just going to get in the way of everything.
I'm sorry, out of character. What's the question you're asking?
Can she give us some names of people working in other mortuaries and whatever other crimes there are, who are not going to immediately get their hackles up when two people rock up and are like, hey, we just want to ask some fucking questions. Like, are you missing some bodies? Essentially, do you have pals working elsewhere, and can we go tap them for information, please and thank you?
I mean, I don't personally have friends, but I could send. I could have one of the couriers drop by some of the other crematoriums and just let them know you'll be on the way.
That would actually, you know what? Don't. I wouldn't want to take up your couriers. That's not a problem at all. It was just if you happen to know anyone anyway. Wonderful. Should we just let ourselves in to see your boss?
Oh, give me 1 second. She steps away from the counter and heads to like a very like a set of like very heavy wooden double doors, pushes it open and peeks inside. You hear her talking, but through the doors it's hard to make out the words. And then she steps back in and says, 2 minutes? 2 minutes so she can wash up. She's just finished with
Of course, not a problem at all.
Of course, nothing issue at all. We'll stand over here. And he's going to take several steps away and start looking at some art.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm assuming there's like art on the walls, maybe some books. What have they got? What have they got to keep people occupied, other than presumably a box of tissues, maybe?
Yeah, there's some like tastefully macabre art on the walls. There are a few books. There is a bookshelf. It seems like the bottom half is actually mostly I want to say like what's the genre of fiction that's not young adult but not children's fiction? Like the kind of stuff a 10-year-old would read.
Is 10 not young adult? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Books for children who are old enough to understand, relatively complex concepts like don't ask Aunt Kathy why she's crying when we bury Uncle George. But yeah, no, the bottom half is like fiction books for children to keep them occupied, and the top half of the bookshelf seems to be a variety of like texts on like how to deal with grief and other such things that might help an adult come to terms with, losing someone important to them.
Verashis is gonna like lightly nudge Hero and sort of gesture a finger up and down the bookshelf, and was like, "They've got the children's books on the bottom shelf and the adults' books on the top shelf. That's just smart."
I do like a bit of environmental design. It's very helpful, I find.
What
Now,
do you?
I'm wondering what the competition is like for bodies.
Yeah, is this the only establishment being targeted?
And if
Or
so, is it something nefarious or is it simple, industrial sabotage?
because if this is the only establishment being targeted, gestures at gestures at Hero, industrial sabotage. If other establishments are being targeted, but it's all still the poor families that, and he does air quotes, no one will miss, different story.
Well, interestingly, if it isn't just the poor families, but we are for some reason disguising from others the fact that some of the more well-to-do families are also losing corpses, there's a whole mess in here which could get rather fraught. I'm very excited.
I suppose it would be a good story.
The case of the body snatchers. I'm really rather. I'm playing with it now, you see. Do you have a pseudonym you prefer? I was looking at you, I was wondering, like a Wilson, like a Wade, like a. I'll workshop it. I'll workshop it.
Well, I wouldn't go with the letter W. Doesn't actually exist in Leonin, but a good start. I feel like House Orient is based in Passage. So, I mean, if this has only been going on a couple of months, there's a low chance that one of them has died. Actually, you would have heard about it, right? If anyone from House Orient had dropped dead. I'm presuming there's a
I'm
low
presuming I would have been called to perform at some ceremony.
Well, to perform at the very least, heard a bit of gossip about, like, oh my god, didn't you hear? Old Varius
Wasn't
dropped,
it ghastly?
and then they lost his body. It's so embarrassing.
That's why we don't live out there. Passage, my god.
What was this
But yeah,
perception check?
has Hero heard anything about people from House dropping dead?
The perception check was just that because you said it was difficult to hear them, so just for kicks, I was like, "How good is Hero's hearing today?" And the answer is, not much more, not much above average.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. To answer that question about Hero hearing anyone from House Orion dying, no, no one from any of the major houses has died recently.
So that's also an interesting question, because is it they're only targeting poor people, or is it that only poor people have died in the last couple of months?
No, it's certainly not the matter, but there are many ways and there are many reasons for not announcing one's death. If you have a wedding coming up, for example, you can pretty much put a body in ice until the wedding is past, and it's more appropriate to be dealing with matters of grief, etc. It's all about the perception of wealth, you understand?
You and I have very different cultural approaches to death and celebration.
Oh, it is positively ghastly, darling.
Somehow
Ghoulish, in fact, in some cases.
Somehow I don't think I missed out by being the second born instead of the third born.
Darling, have a wonderful time. Don't hang your head about that. don't have a hang about that. I am, after all, a world-renowned, well, certainly coast-renowned musician, and as you saw last night, that can be incredibly useful. Now,
I'm sure it's great for you. It might not be great for me. But I suppose if I was born into the annals of House Viarlan, I would be a very different man.
Oh, it's true. You too would be a morally corrupt and bereft of all kind of meaning asshole.
Oh, but of course.
Of course, it is an occupational hazard for the rich. Now, shall we look about us? If I judge the shadows right, it does look like our host is about to appear.
What?
Coughs and looks at the DM.
No, I straight up did not hear the end of that sentence.
Yeah, no, he essentially went, I can see the shadows moving on the other side. It looks like our host is about to appear.
Look directly into camera.
And this would be the time our dialogue comes to an end, and everyone turns the door.
Entering stage left with the spotlight.
Entering stage left in the spotlight is a drow lady with a fairly severe expression and a bronze-plated prosthetic arm. She steps into the room, and just as the camera starts to pull back from the scene, says, "I hear you're from the Adventurers Guild." And we are going to move back across town to Yote, and across town and a little bit in the past to Yote and Einen arriving at the shooting range. As you step into...
Wait, DM, sorry. One final question before we pan all the way away. How old is Shalia? You said she's severe and she has a bronze-plated prosthetic arm and she's a drow. I need to know a general age. Give me it in human years.
A general, roughly, I want to say if you were to compare her, if you were to convert elf years to human years, roughly in her 50s.
Swag. On it, boss.
I can't believe this is the character that's going to get a Hero Forge token.
Fuck you, I'm excited.
Fuck you.
We have run into, in my defense, a bunch of enemies we've killed, a bartender, chef, and a kobold. Also, this is a split session. I've been busy in the other... Fuck it, I'm making this cool lady! Shut up!
Yeah. Yote and Einen, you step into the shooting range, and immediately, Yote, you realize the reason why that person told you that they charge 20 gold pieces per shot to fire their best and biggest gun is because their best and biggest gun is what appears to be it is a Queen Bess's cannon, which is a 30-foot tall artillery piece that fires a 40-pound brick of timed explosive.
Do I have any experience of that from my time in the war?
You have seen once the destruction that they can cause. Roll a d20 for me real quick.
Yeah, I was also gonna say
Is the destruction they cause environmental
horrifying?
Thankfully, it was a Queen Bess being used by an ally of yours at the time, and so it wasn't pointed at you.
I'd hate to be on the other end of that.
That is actually... How did you manage to find one of those on the Empire side? What mod is that?
Technically, it's a Hellhammer cannon.
I'm surprised you didn't just look up Queen Bess
I did.
canon.
I
because
did.
that's
I
like-
was just trying to vibe match. Because they look funky.
Well, yeah, it's because they're a canon made by vampires.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks.
Yote twiddles his beard hair and kind of like sifts around and feels the coin purse that he keeps on his belt.
Yes, I like that second picture. It much better shows the scale of this object.
If anyone's going to shoot that, it will be me. But I don't think we'll be shooting it today. Let's focus on what we actually came here to do. Which was shoot small guns, and then I pull out my bag and I dump it all on the ground, and it's like it's not just the 4 guns come out. All my tools fall out because I cannot find anything in this bag. And
The biggest goose in all of London.
I put two of the guns on like the table of the shooting range, and I like pick everything back up in no organization. Just pick it up like with both my hands and dump it back into the bag. I seem to always find everything I'm looking for, so I go up to the person who runs this fine establishment and I say, "We would like to train shooting today, please."
You you find a relatively tall for a goblin, but you find a goblin man. He's got like kind of a loosely fitted suit on that has like powder burns on like the cuffs and on like the cuffs and sleeves. And he says, "Oh, well, I mean, you came to the right place. Are you looking to use handguns, long guns, artillery?"
I think we should train the well, how tall is your character? I point over to Einan. Oh, okay. I point over to Einan. I'm like, I think the small one we should train in pistols, but I would like a long rifle today.
Excellent.
Are you not peeved that I called you short even though I'm shorter than you? Gotcha. Like 4'1", I think. Yeah, I'm incredibly short. Let me actually.
Excellent. Well, I see you brought your own pistols for your friend,
Sister.
sister.
Mhm.
Interesting family. I see you brought your
Without the commentary.
no offense meant, sir. I'm got my own fair share of strange family members myself. My uncle's a bugbear.
Whoa.
Don't know how that fits together, but it did.
Of what race is this person again?
A goblin, like a regular.
Oh, a goblin.
To be fair, bugbears are also goblins, but they're the goblins that are like 7 feet tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all goblinoids, so that's
Everyone's the same height lying down. Calm down, everybody.
Everyone's the same height line. What flavor of long gun are you hoping to train with today, sir? I have available. Let's see. I've got blunderbusses, muskets. I have an arquebus or two. I have this very nice system that I just got in from Sharn. I believe the man I bought it from called it the bad news. I think that's a bit of a colloquialism, but
I would like to shoot the bad news. That one sounds fun.
He gets like a full scale ladder. He like pulls like a collapsible ladder out from underneath his it's not a desk, his like the kiosk that he has, walks over to this just the wall of guns that's on one side of the range, unfolds the collapsible ladder, climbs to the very top, grabs like an 8-foot long rifle that he is visibly struggling to carry as he climbs back down the ladder, walks back over the kiosk, puts it up onto the kiosk, and then climbs back up onto it himself to stand so that he can kind of. This would actually make him a little taller than both of you. This is the bad news. It appears to be, from what I've been told, it was going to be the standard issue rifle given to the scrolling down. Hey Al, real quick, is Sharn technically part of Breland or Zilargo?
It's technically part of Breland, I think, though I think it's the thing where it's like it's technically part of Breland as a kingdom, but it mostly operates as its own independent thing. But it's Breland in terms of borders.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I can never know which of these fucking lines is a border, you know?
I would definitely recommend for that one just looking at the fucking book map because there's less on it.
But yeah, what I was told is that this was going to be the new standard issue weapon for the Breland Army's Rifleman Corps. And then the war ended, so now they're just kind of floating around on the market. How many shots would you like with it? This one runs about 2 silver per shot.
I will. How many silver is it to gold? 5?
10. 10 silver to a gold.
I will do 5 shots for now.
Excellent. Do you need any ammo for your pistols?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Pistol shot. I can give you a box of 50 pistol shot for a silver piece.
I'll take 2.
Okay. He takes your money. He puts 2 boxes of pistol shot onto the counter, and then counts out 5 of these. I want to be clear here. This gun shoots a bullet. I actually have. I'm gonna turn my camera on real quick. This is a bullet.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, cannon monster. Good to know. Yep.
It's a big ass bullet.
He counts out 5 of these massive rounds and he says, "Make sure that you're like sat, like take one of the stools and make sure you're sat when you fire this."
Do they have dwarf-sized stools?
Yes.
I take one of the human ones.
Fucking. Sure. You take a human-sized stool. Before we get to the shooting, are you gonna do any kind of repairs on the pistol Einen's gonna use? Because I will remind you, these are poorly maintained pistols currently.
You're not gonna let her shoot your own gun?
What?
Your sister.
Yote doesn't have a gun.
I don't have a gun.
Oh shit.
I have the four guns that we took off those ruffians, but I don't have my own gun.
And those guns are crap.
Yeah, they're bad.
I think Yote has. What level does Yote get to make? Yeah, Yote doesn't get the ability to make an arcane firearm of his own until level 5. So until then, Yote's just got whatever guns he happens to find.
Yeah. I will try. I mean, can this guy assist me in repairing these two?
Oh, I'm a salesman, my friend. I do not partake.
Oh, but you don't. Salesman who doesn't know what he's selling.
Oh, I know. I very much know what I'm selling. I'm here all day with people coming in to test fire weapons on the regular. I just personally don't do it myself because I weigh 35 pounds. And so a light breeze knocks me on my ass.
I shake my head and I start to get to work on repairing these things.
I just want to be clear here. This is a goblin. If he tried to fire a medium-sized musket, the recoil would dislocate his shoulder. Because he's a normal person.
Also, there's no way that the fucking Brelandian army made goblin-compatible rifles.
Yeah,
I'm sure they just gave them a pistol and were like, "Figure it out, fuck nuts."
figure it out. Try not to die. Go ahead and give me a what's your fucking, you got a billion proficiencies. Go ahead and give me a Tinker Tools check.
Tinker Tools go up.
That's gonna be intelligence plus your proficiency.
Intelligence. Da.
And before you roll, how smart are you, Einen? Your intelligence, your intelligence is it's a +2, right? And you grew up in a farm. Have you ever seen anyone else dealing with guns while in your little farming community?
You gotta chase off animals on occasion, I suppose.
I love it when they keep the property prices low like that.
Fair. I'm not going to say you fail on a 10. What I am going to say is that it takes you a lot longer than you thought it would to like clean this pistol and get it back up to proper like firing form. This is it, you take this pistol apart and it's every part of this gun that could be caked in fucking grime and burnt powder is caked in grime and burnt powder. You're honestly surprised this gun fired at all.
You pull a fucking giant eagle feather out of the barrel, and you're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? But you spend about 45 straight minutes just wire brushing this gun to a fucking spectacular sheen inside and out. Before you decide that it's safe enough to let Einen shoot.
I give it over to Einen and I say, okay, I've cleaned it to the best of my ability, but it may still blow up in your hand. When you pull the trigger. Yes, correct. But I'm saying it's very, very, very unlikely. Like 0.01% chance. I'm saying it's not zero, but it's very, very low. Zero-er. I take a little ball peen hammer out and I whack it onto on the barrel, and I'm like, okay, now it's zero. Okay, so
No, go ahead.
You point it down. Right? Is there a target out there, or is it like a fake person?
It's like a. No, it's like a little straw. It's almost like a scarecrow. It's like a rough cotton shirt filled with straw on like a stick.
It's a guy, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like human shaped or humanoid shaped?
It's torso shaped.
Okay, Einen, you're gonna want to hit center mass over there. Really try to hit center. That's where the heart is on most living beings. No, you have to shoot at that. Is there anything else available?
I mean, the goblin's like, oh, is this her first time? Apologies. Tom, get the paper targets. And this a human man like looks up from where he's been tinkering with another gun and is like, on it, boss. Runs out, tears down the fucking straw targets, and puts up another stick. And this one's just got what appears to be like a kind of. It's not even paper, actually. It's more along the lines of like a cardboard square with just a dot in the center, a circle, and then a second circle around that first circle.
Okay, Einen. Now, same kind of idea. Center mass. You want to hit in the middle of the target. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath in, and as you're squeezing the trigger. Wait, hold on. Is the guy out of the way?
Tom. Target? No, wait, hold on. How much would Yote actually pay attention to it?
Oh, incredibly close attention, because Yote was in the armed forces.
Right. Actually, better question. How many people has Yote seen get shot in training for not paying attention?
I'm going to say, hold on. $13.
Damn. Yeah, no, he's out of the way, Yote.
Okay, cool. Okay, you're going to breathe in, and as you're aiming, and you aim at the center, you're going to want to squeeze the trigger. Not pull it, squeeze the trigger. Not pull, squeeze. And as you're squeezing, you're going to let that breath out, and you almost want the pull of the trigger to be a surprise to you. And that's how you do.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll flat dexterity.
Okay.
You
With a 7, I say you hit like the corner of the paper. You don't hit like the. Oh, that's like when used to train riflery. If you hit the wire that uh the target was put up on, and it broke the wire, you were banned from doing it for 2 weeks. Like all the targets are held up on like chicken wire, and if you hit the wire, you were banned from doing it for 2 weeks. Yeah, maybe it was less, but that's what I remember. If you were there for a while, then yeah. Mhm. Don't hit the wire. Keep trying. Keep doing it. I would like to, while Einen is doing that, I would like to set up my big gun on my human-sized stool.
Yeah. So you pull your stool up. You put the Do you use the bipod that's attached to the gun, or do you just like whole shoulder it?
No, I whole shoulder it.
Cool. So you sit on your human-sized stool. You lift this like 25-pound rifle up to your shoulder. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll with dexterity. Because you are actually proficient with guns, aren't you? Because you're an artillerist.
Yes, firearms.
Yeah. So go ahead and do an attack roll using dexterity, and make sure to add your proficiency bonus. I do actually want to say the steps that Yote gave Einen are the correct first steps, because you want to make sure that you're shooting the gun properly before you even bother trying to aim the gun.
Yeah. It's almost as if out of character I've done it before.
Okay. Before I tell you how fucking amazing this shot is, because that's a banger ass shot with this, I do need you to make me a dexterity save, as the recoil of this gun sends you physically flying off of this stool.
Yeah, Yote sitting at 4 foot nothing, completely fine.
Yote gets blasted off the stool, tucks, rolls, stands, immediately rushes back up to look at the target. On a 24 to hit, you have blasted a fucking massive hole through this straw target, just a millimeter left of a heart shot on a human being.
Hell yeah.
Not that it matters, because this bullet is large enough that it would have just simply ripped the person in half.
And then I look over at Ina and I say, kind of like that. Kind of like how you do that.
Give me an intelligence check real quick.
How loud was the explosion from a gun big enough to send him flying going off?
It was like voracious. I think with this firing range kind of on the outskirts of the city, there's always like a low kind of din of distant gunfire in passage, but it's very obvious that it's not like people getting into fucking shootouts because it's like timed. You know, the range has rules. You're not allowed to fucking just unload. You have to fire like with time in between each shot. However, this gun goes off, and it is not just loud, it is clearly audible inside the crematorium.
Jesus. Veracious will fucking look around and look at Hero and then look at, presumably at that point, both Shalia and Asheron.
Oh, Ashton's like, oh, it sounds like someone finally shot the new gun that Kirk got.
Fair enough.
You should stop by the way. He's a wonderful fellow. Good storyteller. Moving back to the twins just for a moment.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, not the twins. Fuck.
Oh, fuck me.
Sorry.
Just go fucking stand over here.
The babies. Moving back to the baby siblings.
That is literally our oldest sibling and the youngest sibling.
Oh, I thought Yote was young for a dwarf.
Yote is the oldest sibling.
Dwarves live to like 200. He's still the firstborn.
Damn.
Live till 300.
Well, back to Yote and Einen. Einen, give me an intelligence check to see if you pick anything up from that at all.
YOHP?
It does. So that is a 16. Go ahead and make your next attempt at shooting with advantage. Wow. Kirk comes over and is like, okay, hold on. Miss Einen, maybe we should start you off with a slightly smaller handgun.
Get her a little baby snub nose.
So what you're working with here, this looks to be the standard issue sidearm of the Aundair armed forces, which fires roughly a 2-ounce ball, which can be a little heavy for a first-time shooter. It can be a little loud, a little intimidating. If you follow me over here, he takes you to the gun wall. This is a pepper box. It fires a 1/2-ounce ball. It's much quieter. It's actually got the advantage of not having to reload as often because it can hold up to 6 shots in its rotating barrels. It's much quieter. It's much easier to shoot because there's not nearly as much recoil. Try this one out. On the house. Go ahead and make this shot at advantage as well.
Holy shit.
Yeah, with the lighter pepper box in your hand, you do exactly what Yote told you to do, and this time the shot flies true, dead center on the paper target. Yote, would you like to fire a second round from the bad news?
I think I would.
All right. Are you gonna use the bipods this time?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Do I get any?
Yeah.
Do I get any additional to it if I'm using the bipod?
If you take the time to deploy the bipods, in a controlled environment, I'll let this give you advantage.
Okay.
Normally, this would cancel out the disadvantage from shooting this weapon unbraced.
Oh, I didn't. I mean, I did shoot it unbraced last time.
Yeah, but it's a controlled environment, so it's fine. In an actual fight, you would have to.
I rolled 2 18s.
Yeah, this shot's not quite as accurate as the last one, but it does hit the target fairly center mass. And with the bipods deployed, you don't get blasted out of your chair, although at this point your shoulder is starting to get a little sore.
I look over at Iden and I ask her if she wants a whirl.
Oh, that's next time.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's gonna kick a little bit harder, but yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Still dexterity. If you've got the bipod deployed, still will give you advantage as well. That's fair. No, I said you do. It is, but the benefit of a long rifle is that it is far more accurate than a pistol. And with the bipod deployed, you're basically, well, pointing and clicking. Okay. Yeah, your shot, it hits center mass, still not quite, and it's still, were this a smaller gun, it might not be a kill shot, but again, this is a gun shooting a fucking massive bullet, so it would probably kill like a regular person. But Einan, being unused to the kick of a regular rifle and immediately trying out the biggest gun ever made that wasn't a cannon, I would like you to make a Constitution save for me.
Iden shits herself.
Einen, your shoulder hurts. Not enough to physically take health points off of you, but like this feels like the time you accidentally pulled a muscle in your shoulder trying to haul hay when you were just a little too young to be doing that. Or are you asking me or your brother?
Well,
Oh, it was
sometimes
for
the job calls for a gun of that size. Sometimes there are big things that need to be destroyed.
like Warforged Colossi. Those things are crazy.
I
That's
fought
what this
one of those one time. It was a misery.
That's what these were for originally. It was Breland's answer to Breland's answer to Sire's growing Warforged army. But again, then the war ended, so you know. Yeah. I mean, you paid for the bullets, so or he paid for the bullets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Einen, go ahead and give me one more dexterity check. This one, not an advantage, just a flat dex check. We'll call it a DC 14. Do you want a packed boon again? Einen, by the time you burn through the first box of shot you've been given, I think you are comfortable enough with the pepper box to say that you have gained proficiency with specifically that handgun. You have weapon proficiency, pepper box. And Kirk, seeing your newfound comfort, kind of speaks up near the end of your shooting and says, you gotten pretty handy with that. I could probably let that go for, say, Hundo 50?
I have 73 on me. You're in hell. You're in hell. I can't understand what you're saying. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Now it's better. If I give you how much? If I give you how much?
Yes.
We're working on that. Remember, the twins are off selling things. Yeah, that was the plan.
You don't know if they're successful or not.
No, but you know that is the goal.
To do that.
Mm, go ahead, and give me a persuasion check. We're gonna do. He looks at you, Einan, and he says, uh, I'm so sweet. And you know what? I'll do it. I'll let it go for 125, but you gotta tell everybody that you buy your guns from me. I don't care about that, but you gotta say you do. I don't care about this. I don't give a fuck
looking
about
straight
all
at the
that.
camera. This reminds me of our newest sponsor.
Kirk's gun range. Kirk's. It's KZEERK. According to Al, the Z is only really pronounced by people who are fluent in Goblin. KZEERK. Kirk.
Every time we shoot someone.
Raid Shadowland.
This bullet has been brought to you by.
Yeah. So, M, if you want to put this
Kirk's
on your
gun range says hi, and the guy's like, "What the fuck are you talking?"
Blam.
The pepper box does a D10 damage and reloads. It takes a full turn to reload every 6 shots.
That seems reasonable.
Dexterity. And then we're gonna go a little out of order because we are getting close to the end of the night for us. So we're actually gonna head away from the shooting range back to Veracious and Hero first.
Excellent.
So Shalia stands there, arms crossed, her mechanical prosthetic clicking as she like drums her fingers against her own arm. Ashrin says you're with the Adventurers Guild. I assume you're here about the missing bodies.
We are indeed. Yes, that's true.
Ask your questions.
First and foremost, I suppose we were trying to inquire if there was some kind of record or if you were aware of a particular pattern about where these bodies were taken.
I remember what my couriers told me. They were all taken roughly in. Hold on a moment. She steps out of the lobby into a room marked employees only, and when she comes back, she has like a map of the city. This is my courier's map. They use it for plotting efficient pickup routes. But from what they've told me, most of the bodies that have gone missing did so in this neighborhood. And she points to a section of passage that you don't know anything about because neither of you live in passage.
And what's the demographic? What's the situation in this area?
Non-human, poor.
Wonderful. So we can presume some kind of victimization here is clearly coming through. Now, the question is, of course, why the couriers are still taking this route if they are prone to being jumped there.
It's the fastest route.
Surely not if you're being relayed.
Well, truth be told, since this started, I have had something of a struggle maintaining employment of my couriers. So the men who work for me now, with the exception of Torm, are fairly new.
And they're being instructed no longer to take this route, I suppose.
That's between them and Torm. I don't tell my couriers how to do their job.
Absolutely understood. You're quite the different side of the business now. Thank you so much for that. Is there any chance we could spend a moment with this map? We'll bother Torm after this, of course. Now, I do have another question. This one's slightly perhaps indelicate. Are you aware of similar happenings happening to the departed belonging to other mortuaries, crematoriums, etc.? Is it just yourselves being targeted?
As far as I'm aware, it's just the bodies sent here. The other mortuaries service different areas of the city. They're unlikely to pass through the area that's been most afflicted. It's a large city.
When you say afflicted, do you mean by these crimes?
Yes, the neighborhood I pointed.
Understood. Of course. Now, there are presumably other poor areas within the city.
Most of the city I would describe as poor areas, with the exception of those are directly around the market district and the high houses on the north side.
Wonderful. Perhaps could we bother you for a bit of direction to perhaps the mortuaries and the crematoriums that serve those other areas of the city? If we have someone who is particularly looking for what we might consider high-risk targets, I think that's a pretty good place to start. Now, obviously, none of these bodies arrived here. They were all taken in process. What I do have to ask is, what is the impact that has had upon your business?
Well, it's had one in the last few months since word got around that so many of the departed weren't arriving in our halls. I would say we've suffered roughly conservatively 25% loss in revenue.
That is positively disastrous for a business such as yourself. Now, if I could be quite indelicate, how long have you worked here? Has this always been your establishment in the family?
I I bought the establishment some 50 years ago after I was discharged from the Aundair army for, she raises her hand, outstanding differences.
Understood.
Vrasha seems to nod appreciatively.
I do follow-up question then. Obviously, it's nothing to do with you recently taking it over, so in a human's lifetime, that's quite an expansive amount of time. Have you made? Is there someone who might have been irked at yourself or your business recently, perhaps before this began? Is perhaps a reason why you, in particular, might be targeted if we presume that that is the case?
I'm sorry, run that one by me again in normal
Has
case.
has somebody taken against them recently? Is there a reason why? Is there anything she can think of that would be a trigger for someone to start targeting their business in particular?
I mean, we've recently made efforts to expand our area of influence in the city. We've built an extension to the building so that we can handle a larger workload. It's possible that some of my competitors saw that as overstepping my bounds. Frankly speaking, I prefer to let people's money do the talking rather than petty power games.
So, if you were to estimate whose business might be the most impacted by your current expansion plans, which I presume are under threat given the 25% loss in value?
I mean, it's definitely going to be rough. With the expansion, that does raise the value of the building, which means that the taxes I owe in the next quarter are going to be larger. If I had to guess who most would be affected by that expansion, I would probably say, let's see, there's Harkin over on the Market District outskirts. There's Celis over by the train yard. They're my next closest competitors, geographically speaking.
And how is your relationship with them, if I might ask?
Bad. Harkin's a fellow veteran of the war, and unfortunately, he took the wrong lessons from it and feels that he is owed more than he deserves because of his time in the military. And Celis is... I don't want to mince words. Celis is a bigot.
Oh, glorious. We're going to get along perfectly. Presuming that we perhaps take a walk over there to at least have a conversation with these people, which I think is a fairly reasonable assumption. Pray tell, what brand of bigot are we dealing with?
She's a high elf. And as far as she's concerned, elves like me should never have come up from what's the Underdark? What?
I don't think there is one. Elves here are weird.
Well, there is an underground area in Eberron, isn't there?
Maybe, but I don't think it's the same.
There's always an Underdark. It's not always the same as the one in Faerun.
Yeah, I don't To be fair, I haven't looked into Drow quite as much, but I don't think it's that Drow are from the Underdark, because all of the elves are from Corvair.
They're from a different continent.
All the elves from a different continent and have come to Corvair, which is why.
Oh, apologies. It's Kyber. They named the area after the progenitor dragon that created it.
Right.
Yes, they're from a place called Zendrick. Drow are.
Well, as far as she's concerned, elves like myself should never have left Zendrick.
Oh, she's gonna looks at Varashis. She's gonna absolutely adore us. How absolutely delicious. Now,
A bigoted high elf.
I
who is
know it's something of a
trying to live in Corvair. Varashis looks at Shalia quizzically, because I have to assume most high elf fuck every other race supremacists just stay on the fucking island and don't come over here.
I can't tell you why bigots do what they do. I'm not entirely sure that they know why they do what they do.
Now, being yourself, I didn't beat around the bush and try and ask you exactly the right question to access the information and the theories, which you most obviously will have. Could I just make a plea for you to share any of the thoughts that you might have on this whole dirty matter?
Well, in my experience, there are only 3 kinds of people that steal corpses. There are plenty of kinds of people that dig up corpses. Grave robbery is one of the oldest professions on the continent, but to steal a whole corpse is a different matter entirely. I believe that this is most likely the work of maybe a cult, a sect of necromancers, possibly someone caught ghoul fever and brought it into the city.
I'm sorry, ghoul fever.
Yeah. Apologies. This is a relatively recent discovery, but it's I want to say about 40 years ago, towards the end of the war, a group of wizards got together to figure out if they could weaponize ghouls, and they discovered that ghouls are not actually undead the way a zombie is. They're actually closer to a werewolf or a vampire. It's a magical disease.
I see.
Spread via bite.
Understood. And they are bringing, sorry, what into the city?
Well, if someone contracted ghoul fever and then came
Oh,
to
ghoul
passage,
fever. I see.
yeah, if someone contracted the disease and then came to passage and turned in passage, it's possible that we're dealing with a ghoul or a nest of ghouls who are simply stealing corpses because that's what ghouls do. They eat corpses.
Understood. Excellent. I don't think we particularly need to take up much more of your time. Looks at Varashis.
I do have one, maybe personal question. This fellow you said who believes he's owed special treatment for his military service.
Arkham.
Was he conscripted?
Volunteer.
He squints. How far into the war? Early on, or?
About 8 months before it ended.
Well. Looks at Hero. Going to be a fun competition to see which one of them is worse, I would imagine.
Absolutely glorious. I do love our day job.
Does the name Varit Leondrin mean anything to you?
Actually, that is there is one more question we do need to ask on a different and personal matter, if that's quite okay.
Brasha squints at her like he's clearly confused.
She gestures for you to ask.
I do want to just ask if this man had come through your doors vertically or horizontally. He's going to cast a minor illusion and stick up like a spinning head hologram of Dad.
Query: Is Hero's hologram of Varit based on his memory of Varit?
It's based on his mother's most recent intel, which presumably includes some kind of picture.
That's fair.
He looks at the little spinning head hologram and says, I mean, I met him once. About I want to say 40. No, it would have been. I would have still been in the army, so probably 55, 60 years ago.
Oh Lord, not to sound indelicate, but when you met this man, there's not any progeny, is there?
I don't go for men.
So very wise. Particularly in this case, that's absolutely wonderful. But you haven't seen him any more recently than that.
No.
Thank you
No.
so very much for your time. We really do appreciate it. We're just going to bother your assistant for a moment more, and then we will be out of your hair for now, unless we have any kind of update for you.
Well, I hope you get to the bottom of this. You know, being able to tell the community that the problem has been decisively solved will go a long way towards re-ingratiating myself with my locals. The locals.
We will do our very best. Thank you so much. He's going to turn on his heel and walk out to the desk where Trova is, right?
You mean Ashran?
Ah, yeah, okay. So you can be like, where do I find Trovit?
Do you mean Torm?
Torm. Whoever the fuck the guy in charge of the burial person.
Do you mean
Whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know. That guy. That dick. Yeah, him.
Yeah, he's in the break room, actually. I remember you wanted to speak with him, so after he gave the rest of the couriers their jobs for the day, I had him stay behind so you could talk to him.
You are an absolute star, darling. He's like rolling up the map that he's borrowed from in there as much to and points with it. It's like, this way? Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Do you want tea or anything, darling?
I mean, we actually have one of those fancy new coffee makers in the break room. You know, the kind that you put the grounds in and it makes it for you.
Oh, say no more, darling. We'll send one right out. Not a problem at all. Verashius, let's go. Let's speak to this gentleman.
Brasha will follow.
You walk into the break room, sitting on a chair at like a round kind of at like a round, like a medium-sized round table, is a possibly the largest human man you've ever seen. Like, Hero, you're a Goliath, correct?
Half Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, this guy almost is as tall as you are when he stands up to greet you.
Oh, delicious.
And you recall that Ashran said that he has orc somewhere in his family. When he opens it, when he like greets you, you notice just the vaguest, like, just the tiniest little tusks.
Just very pronounced, exclusively lower incisors.
Yeah. I'm Torm. I hear you're from the guild.
Quite so. Do please take a seat. We just want to ask you some questions.
Sure. He sits back down. What kind of questions? I've spoke with the guards a couple times already, and I gave my statement to Cart when we put the job up.
Quite so. Actually, that's my first question. How has the response from the guard been exactly?
Honestly, not great. I got the impression that the guard who spoke to me thought that I was. I got the impression when he spoke to me that he wasn't taking me very seriously. He didn't write down a whole lot when I spoke, and well, it's been 3 months, and I've had to mark off that whole neighborhood as off limits to my couriers, although clearly some of them are still going through the back alleys there because we're still losing bodies. Cart said he would get someone on it as soon as he could, but that was also a month ago. You're the first people we've talked to about it in a while, actually.
Well, we are endeavouring to be the very last. Now, DM, can I do an insight check to see how he is actually feeling about this whole situation? If he's actually as fucked off as he appears to be.
Sure, go right on ahead.
16.
He's frustrated. You can tell kind of immediately that Torm's the kind of person that, he doesn't half-ass things. He's a
whole ass kind of a guy.
He's a whole ass kind of a guy, and having to both change up the routine of his work and the rest of the courier's work, and also not being taken seriously by the guards is clearly like weighing on him.
Beautiful. In which case, Hira's going to look at him and go, now, I will admit to having a bit of a secondary motivation here. I have in the past had less than helpful run-ins with the law in the past, and I would quite like to perhaps get to the root of this as quickly as possible. Firstly, so obviously the families can have some relief and yourselves can go back to the natural way of your business, but also perhaps to put a little bit of a jab in the side of Johnny Law, just to indicate that perhaps if they had taken people seriously from the get-go, we wouldn't be in this situation. Would that be something that would resonate with yourself?
Absolutely. Frankly speaking, I feel like if this had happened on the north side of town, they would have dealt with this in a week or two. It's disgraceful the way they've handled this.
It sounds absolutely vile. So, excellent. In which case, let us blast through some questions with none of the usual decorum. Let's just get right to the meat of it, as you will. Firstly, do you happen to know what the going rate for a body on the black market is? I'm trying to work out if there's some kind of financial gain to be made here.
I mean, I don't.
Surely someone's tried to pay you off at some point. Like, here, look the other way. I'll hand you a cheeky wee
100 gold just to make this body disappear, something like that. Just something to give us an idea of what we're dealing with.
I mean, I will admit the local hospital has on occasion sought to procure corpses from us that weren't necessarily ours to give. I think the last time they tried to pull that, they offered, not me, they don't ever speak to me, but the last time they tried to, pressure Lady Shalia into selling one, I believe the going offer was, I want to say, 250 gold.
Goodness gracious, and we can presume that's just a tiny sliver of their profit they presume to make, so there clearly is some financial gain. Beautiful. And the hospital was the people who last attempted this with yourselves as an organisation, which is very useful to know. Now, on to the next one. How many bodies do you believe that you yourselves as an organisation have lost?
I mean, I don't believe a number. I can tell you the exact number.
Beautiful. And while you're doing that, and he unrolls the map, and pulls a little like fountain pen out of his jacket. Could you mark where each one was taken, ideally with some kind of indicator to let us know which one is? We're trying to work out a geography of a hunting area, as it were.
Yeah. Well, the first one was here. And he goes through I want to say 14 bodies, all of which were taken within like a single 4-block area of the city. I wish the city had a map, by the way, but it doesn't.
Valid. Okay, so here's watching this, and then after a little minute, he makes eye contact with Voracious over the top of his head as he's like still working, and gives him a little like ooh like eyebrow raise moment, and is like, when he's finished with all 14 bodies, he's like, well, now I do have quite an interesting thing to ask you, which is primarily how regular would you say it is for a carriage carrying a corpse to be waylaid in this particular area? How many successful carriages are they hitting? Everyone or one in two? Like, what's the success rate here?
Well, I mean, it's a poorer neighborhood, and it's fairly densely populated. So in the 3 months, I want to say we were hired to courier about 45 bodies. So they took about a third, a little less than a third.
Understood. And looking at these dates, and he's going to look at the dates, is there any, like, are they all taken on a Friday or a full moon or a fucking, like, very clear pattern?
Not a super clear pattern. However, it appears to be about one body every 6 or 7 days.
Beautiful. In which case, he's going to let him go. And when was the last time you lost or had a body taken from you?
It shames me to tell you, but we don't service the area anymore.
Who does?
Last I heard, that neighborhood's taken to handling their own disposals.
Unfortunate. Now, I do have one, perhaps final. I'll say to my colleague here, but one question from myself, which is,
Were I to suggest a daring do where perhaps we required the use of one of the carriages to lay a little trap so that we could find and perhaps beat to within certainly an inch of their life and perhaps somewhat beyond that should circumstances require, could we perhaps persuade you to aid us in that endeavour in the name of both making Johnny Law look a little bit foolish and getting revenge?
You want to borrow a carriage?
Potentially. If it looks like the best way to catch these bastards is by making them think that we have something that they want, I don't see any reason why not. I work with smarter people than me who are way better at laying out this kind of deceitful thing. So I will check with them, of course, but I'm just scoping out our resources, as it were.
I could probably spare a carriage.
Beautiful. Now, I would have one request to make, and then I will cede to my colleague here, which is if that comes to pass and that is what we do, I will need you to keep that as close to a secret taken to the grave as possible. We don't know. Presumably, they have some kind of way of knowing that the carriages will be passing through, which means there may be a leak from within. So the fewer people know about the trap, the more likely it is to succeed.
Yeah, I can keep it quiet. I mean, I'll have to tell Shalia because they're her carriages, but other than that,
Beautiful. If you can keep it exclusively between yourself and the lady, that would be wonderful. Now, Verashes, you have been looking positively thoughtful.
My questions are a bit less broad and more about the specific events, if you don't mind.
I mean, go ahead.
Ashram was telling us that from the limited investigation the guards have done, there's been no evidence of magic found.
I mean, if that's what I was told as well. Although I'll be honest with you, I've been in this business a long while, and I've never had any issues staying awake while doing my job. So, I mean,
Yeah.
short of magic, I'm not sure what else could make a man just fall asleep like that.
Well,
Many drugs, Deli. Live more.
depending on what they were looking for at the scene, and as you said, not investigating particularly thoroughly, they may have been looking for signs of magical spellcraft, traps. Certain arcane residue can be left behind by those with the means to see it. I'm wondering more if you can recall any unusual odors, some stains perhaps found on your clothes or on the carriage. They may evaporate quite rapidly. Or the particular symptoms that occur before you fall asleep. Is it a simple drowsiness? Your eyes just can't stay open, or is it more of a sort of watering of the eyes, a struggling to breathe, that sort of thing? I'm inquiring because I have plenty tangential experience with the application of alchemical concoctions in replicating all kinds of magical effects, including, surprisingly simply, the ability to put people to sleep.
I mean, now that you mention it, I do remember. I remember that before it happened to me personally, the air started to smell kind of almost sickly sweet, like burning molasses almost.
Hey DM,
Yeah, what's
are
up?
we at a level of technological complexity where we have figured out how to put people the fuck to sleep for major surgeries?
Why would that need to be a technological thing? That just seems like something you could do with magic.
It doesn't
Okay,
need to be technological, but could it be technological?
like, yes, there's the sleep spell, although I'm pretty sure sleep stops if you wake up. If you take damage, don't you wake up from sleep?
Yeah, you have a chance to. So doing surgery under the sleep spell would be rough.
So basically, given that we're effectively just post World War One, have we figured out anesthesia? I'm assuming we have figured out anesthesia, and surgeons aren't still doing the tried and true method of, well, if we cut the leg off fast enough, they probably won't die.
I mean, I actually think it's kind of the other way around because of the presence of magic. Rather than figuring out anesthesia, I feel like they just figured out faster ways to cut people's limbs off because you could just stop the bleeding immediately after with a healing potion.
Okay, so the ability to put people to sleep with any
Chemicals.
kind of alchemy is unusual.
Unusual, but not unheard of.
Mhm.
I rolled a natty 20 for a 24 on my Arcana. I would like to know if that the scent he described rings a bell in terms of particular spell components that would make sense to this.
Not spell components, but you know that on a natural 20, you know that it is a common practice, especially after the war, for necromancers to essentially stuff their undead creations with like very powerfully scented items to mask the scent of the body.
And an undead attacking one carrying the dead. Oh dear.
But that doesn't explain how they were put to sleep.
No, quite so. Is it, if there's anything else that you need, we're staying at the Golden Dragon. You can just ask for us, and they will certainly see you right. We'll see back if we ourselves find anything. Is there anything else on your mind as we've been talking? Anything odd, anything out of the ordinary that you didn't think of until now, perhaps?
I mean, just the smell. No one ever asked me if it's smelled. I mean, it's a big city, you know. It already kind of smells everywhere. So I guess maybe they just didn't consider that would be important. Is that important?
It might be. Now, actually, I lie. Let's do one more thing. Just a quick little technique. Now, you'll have to indulge me, but I do promise it has some merit. Would you close your eyes for me, dear?
Uh, sure.
And I want you to think back to the occasion you yourself were overtaken by this event. Now, you are sitting in the carriage. Where are you?
Well, Are you trying to hypnotize this guy?
No, I'm trying to do a guided memory vibe.
Is that not a hip?
No. I'm trying. It is a literal cognitive like memory technique. I will use as he's going through. If he starts to describe like the sounds that are going on, I will use minor illusion to put them there physically. But no, I'm literally just prompting him to put himself back in his place at that time and think it and kind of work it through in practice.
Sure. I mean, I'm not in the carriage. I'm on the carriage, I guess. We're moving through. I've got the body in the back already. I mean, I can hear the sounds of horse hooves on the cobblestone. People going to and from their jobs. There's a
Wonderful.
small.
Take a moment. Just take a moment. Take your time. Now, looking around, is it busier than usual? Is there anyone paying particular attention to you? Anything unusual in the crowd at all?
No, no one's really paying attention to me. Like I said, I pass through this neighborhood because it's faster because there's not as much foot traffic, so there's not really much of a crowd here that time of day.
Okay, wonderful. So you're proceeding down the alleyway. What's happening?
I mean, we're going. It's a bit of a tight fit for the carriage. There have been a couple times where, or depending on, how much garbage is accumulated, there are times when the carriage won't fit. It fit that day. I get about halfway through the alleyway when when that sweet smell picks up.
Okay, stop right here. Stop time in this moment. So you're smelling that smell. What are you hearing?
Nothing.
Nothing at all, not even the crowd, not even the people behind you.
No, the city's quiet.
Is it usually quiet?
It's never quiet.
Can you hear the wheels of the cart behind you?
No.
Varash just looks up at Hero pointedly.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Hero does not acknowledge this in any way and is like laser focusing. Like, okay, so it's suddenly gone silent. Can you feel somebody looking at you?
I feel no one's looking at me, I think, but I feel I don't know how to describe. It feels like I'm aware of something, but I can't remember it.
Okay. Now, is the cart still moving or has it stopped?
We're moving.
Okay.
The smell's getting stronger, and I don't feel tired, but I know that in a moment I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna wake up from being asleep.
You can feel it already. That's interesting. Pause in just a second. Look at the horse. Is it calm? Is it frightened? What's happening?
It doesn't seem afraid.
Okay, and looking around, just right here, what can you see? What's out of the usual in this moment before the sleep swallows you? Even the smallest thing.
Uh, I don't know what to. It feels like I should be seeing something, but I can't remember the shape of it. I just remember the absence of it.
This is going to be a tricky one. How big is the space you can't see? Is it a whole side of the carriage?
It's I want to say person shaped, but not standing right. Hunched over.
On the ground.
Yeah. Like
Is there
like someone, like a beggar almost.
is he sat?
I think it's like a sphere of the alleyway that I just can't come in. I can't. It won't come into focus.
Don't stress it. Don't worry. We're working around it, darling. Don't worry. Now, is this the alleyway ahead of you, or is it one of the feeder ones from the side?
It's the one ahead of me. It's the one we're going down.
What makes you stop?
I don't stop. I just wake up.
Okay. And when you how does your body feel?
Like I didn't get enough sleep.
Still
No,
tired,
yeah,
exhausted to your bones.
almost.
Now I have
It's like
one more.
it's. Go ahead.
No, it's like
It's like I've slept. It's like I've slept in the wrong. It's like I haven't slept enough, and like I've slept in the wrong position. Everything aches, but only for a moment, and then it's gone.
perfect. Now open your eyes, come back to us. I do want to ask you for one final favor, and then we will be on our way because the day is getting late. Would you mind terribly if myself or my colleague here has a quick look at some of the more easily accessed pulse points? Your neck, your wrists, particularly.
I mean, he holds his hands up. Go ahead.
100% want to check him for bite marks.
He is clean. You don't even have to investigate.
Wonderful news. Thank you so very much. Now, if anything else comes to you, no matter how small, do please seek us out. Are we happy to depart?
Completely. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time.
I hope you catch whatever's doing this.
Oh, quite certainly. We are nothing if not tenacious. Have a good day, sir. And I'm going to quickly step out and boot step their way out. He is thinking enough that as they leave the scene and go out into the street, he doesn't even wave down a tuk-tuk or a carriage or anything. He is just striding and thinking.
You know, it's actually quite impressive when you apply your powers of guile, manipulation, and subtlety in more interesting manners than harassing the bartenders on one of our trains.
Now, you're sounding like my mother, dear. Off we go.
As you head off, we're gonna circle back to
It is 1:10 in the morning, my friend.
well, hold on, we're almost done. We're gonna circle back to the twins. Following that wisdom roll you made, I believe is what I said it was.
Yes.
Archie. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it again. Yeah, there it is. It was a 14 plus 5, a 19. You know the signs to look for, even if you don't necessarily. You know the signs to look for, even if you don't necessarily like know how to read them.
Yeah.
Because you know, Thieves' Cant has some common. Every city's Thieves' Cant is a little different, but it does have some common symbols that people can, people in the know can look for. So you lead your brother Garrick deeper into the city, into one of the poorer districts, following a trail of symbols etched into like the base of the bases of like the buildings you're walking through. And I need both of you, pretty please, to make a perception check for me. DC is 19.
Well, we're about to be jumped for money.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my actions.
Fuck you.
Archie.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a criminal, motherfucker.
Archie, you stop. Something's not right.
Hmm.
You got those little hairs on the back of your neck standing up like someone's watching you. And
I'll really quick stop my brother and go, you know what? I think someone's about to do something really fucking stupid. And they say that really loud. It would be really fucking stupid to do something right this moment.
You hear from above you, Archie. You're right. Someone is about to do something really stupid. Or more accurately, someone already did something really stupid. And landing in front of you off of the top of the buildings nearby are three goblins in like stained black leathers, and landing behind you are two additional goblins, and the one of whom is wearing honestly a strikingly similar bowler hat to yours, Archie. And he says, "Now I got just one question for you before we get active. What's your postcode?"
Looks over to remember what the fuck's the postcode? Oh. We're from fucking Sean. What do you fucking think? Or we just do it.
Thing.
We just
Oh, we
fucking
got
do it.
we got Sharnies in our block.
We talk like this for fucking fun. What do you fucking think, you fucking moron? Why don't you shut up?
Yeah, I got a question for you, all right?
Damn, you got a mouth on you.
I got a question. How much money you got on you?
How much money do do you got?
Hey,
we
I
saw
asked
you.
first.
And I asked
this
second.
guy talks a lot. I think I can fix that for you by breaking your fucking jaw.
I would love to see that. That would be beautiful.
I think it would be really beautiful. Now you all are gonna fucking hand over your money to us, or I'm gonna take you and shove you down his fucking throat. Can I try an intimidation?
Yeah, go ahead.
13.
Goblin looks at you and is like, you know what? Fuck talking about it. Get active, Sharni. And they are literally the worst members of the party to do this. And all five goblins draw swords.
Okay.
And that is where we're gonna end for the night.
Okay. Goblin fight. Try to shove one down the other's throat. I meant it.
Promises, brother.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
I'm saying I gotta do it. So I've just needed to make that important note for next time. But it is late. Thank you very much, Harley. That was quite fun, quite informative.
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
first time I've fucking witnessed anyone doing not hypnotherapy, but guided memory meditation.
Mm.
In
We
a
watch a
D-
lot of Criminal Minds. Like, I don't know what.
She also did do a psych degree.
No, true.
That's true.
Bye,
Bye,
recording.
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 All right.